Celia, really? He blushed. I only did what anyone would do. Nothing special. Ask me for anything and it's yours. Celia looked over at Chase, hoping that he was as overjoyed at the new development as she was. But instead, she saw a frown fall across his face. Her excitement faded. Chad had found Dottie a doctor. The best doctor. And the most Chase could do was stand there in righteous anger? She sighed. It was nothing more than she should have expected. At this moment, Chase's phone rang. It was the doctor. He walked over to the window and answered the call. Mr. Rothman, he heard Roland say. I just arrived. Shall I come up to your wife's hospital room? No need, replied Chase, his voice low and quiet. It's not a good time. Why don't you wait for me in the lounge? I'll be down shortly. Roland agreed to wait in the lounge and hopped off the call. After hanging up, Chase returned his attention back to Chad and Celia. Chad's face erupted in a sly smile. Mr. Rothman. He choked. I didn't realize you were so popular. Chase shifted his weight on his feet, uncomfortable with the choke. He turned to Celia. Leah, I found us a cardiologist for Dottie. He was just calling to get a bit more information on her case. Hearing this, she was a little surprised. She hadn't expected him to find a doctor. Chad, on the other hand, was convinced that Chase was lying in order to win back Celia's affection. Leah, you're not buying this, right? He said. I just found Dottie a doctor too, and now Chase is here, and he's claiming to have found a doctor too? It's just too coincidental. Is it just a coincidence? Thought Chad. But just in case it wasn't, he turned to Chase and said, What kind of doctor did you find? I found a cardiologist. The best cardiologist. Dr. Zimmerman. Even if you had a doctor, there's no way we would want to use them now that we have Dr. Zimmerman. Chase smiled and said, Are you sure? What do you mean, am I sure? Chad laughed nervously. You do know that Dr. Zimmerman is the best in his field, right? I'd wager to say that there's no better cardiologist in the entire country. I'm just trying my best to be a good father, responded Chase. Do you think it's wrong for me to find a doctor for my daughter? Chad was flummoxed. Chase had pulled out the dad card. All right, fine. I'm sure that the doctor you found is very competent. How about this? Why don't we have Dr. Zimmerman and your doctor both take a look at Dottie and provide a consultation? Then he can decide who is the better doctor for ourselves. Seeing the two of them argue again, Celia rolled her eyes. She was growing tired of their rivalry. She looked over at Chase and saw not anger, but sadness. He looked genuinely hurt that she wasn't even considering the doctor he had found. Should she speak up for Chase? If she did, she would upset Chad. She was getting tired of having to try so hard to appease their fragile conceptions of self-worth. She therefore remained quiet. Chad was still aggressively poking holes in Chase's story. What do you say? Let's match our doctors up face to face and see who comes out the winner. Chase smiled to himself. Chad was acting like a greedy child who didn't know how to share. He thought that the more of a fool he made of himself, the better. It was time that Celia saw who Chad really was. As for Chad, he was convinced he won the argument. You know, Chase, I admire you quite a bit. Somehow you have the ability to remain confident in the face of your own incompetence. How do you do it? I mean, take the relationship with Celia. She asked for a divorce, man. And yet you're here, pretending there's nothing wrong. Chase looked at him. Actually, I should thank you, he said. Right now, my only wish is for Celia to realize how arrogant, narcissistic, and prideful you are. And you're doing a better job at it yourself than I could have ever hoped for. All right, stop it, you two. Celia finally couldn't stand it anymore. Chase, stop talking nonsense. Chad helped us find a doctor, so stop making things difficult for him. I'd like you to apologize. Chase's expression remained unchanged. With that, he left the room and quickly hurried down the hallway. Celia shook her head in disappointment, while Chad's face expanded in a foolish grin. "And as for you," she said, "leave Chase alone. This isn't easy for him either. We should respect that he found a doctor and hear him out." Downstairs, Chase walked into the lounge to find Roland, who he had left waiting for longer than he wanted. Seeing Chase enter the lounge, Roland quickly stood up from his chair and eagerly extended his hand to Chase. "Mr. Rothman, it's nice to finally meet you in person." Roland was the nation's best cardiologist, but it didn't come easy. He worked for years on difficult cases in relative obscurity. He came to national attention only after he had saved the lives of the rich and powerful, as well as those of high-ranking members of the U.S. Armed Forces. With the respect of those in power, he'd risen to new heights in his profession and in his personal life. This time he had come to Lauderville with 2 student interns who were there to watch and learn. And learning from a man such as Roland hasn't been easy. He barked orders, liked his coffee hot, and rarely spoke to them. They often worked long hours, and while they occasionally assisted in treatment, their efforts were entirely unrecognized. When the interns saw Roland being so respectful to Chase, they were shocked. Back in New York City, even the most powerful of men were no match for his status and power. Who was this man? Roland shook Chase's hand and gave him a deferential pat on the shoulder. "Mr. Rothman, I apologize that it had taken so long for me to meet you. For the past few days, my team has been reading your daughter's case file and researching possible causes and treatments for her illness. I didn't want to give you my thoughts on her illness until I was 100% confident in the direction of her care." It's fine." Chase waved his hand. "You're here now. So, what is the plan? Can you assure that she will be cured? That there are no side effects of the treatment or undue risks?" "Rest assured, Mr. Rothman, I have done my research," Roland said in a hurry. "After much consideration, we are now certain that our proposed treatment has a 99% rate of success for cases like Dottie's. We are very optimistic, and doctors don't say that lightly." "Very good," said Chase. He was quite satisfied with Roland's proposal. He nodded and said, "When can we schedule the operation?" "We can schedule it as soon as 1 week," Roland replied.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.